What is good, Raider Nation? It's your boy Raider Alex back with yet another video for you guys. Anybody that is new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, let's just jump right into the topic of this video. The NFL draft is literally just days away, and the fate of the Raiders franchise is going to be heavily determined on what we do this year in the draft with the new regime in Pete Carroll, John Spytek, and also under new minority owner Tom Brady. And the Raiders, it's going to be a big draft for them. It'll give us a lot of insight on what the future plans are going to be and what direction we are going to move exactly. And today I wanted to focus too on Aidan O'Connell. It looks like there is a possibility that Aidan O'Connell's days with the silver and black could be numbered, as according to some reports from Vic Tafur, the Raiders are expected to explore trading options for quarterback Aidan O'Connell during the NFL draft. Now, Aidan O'Connell is 26 years of age. He has played in 20 career games with 17 starts, has thrown for over 3,800 yards, 20 touchdown passes, 11 interceptions, a 62.6 completion rate, and he was a 4th round draft pick a couple years back in that 2023 NFL draft. And overall, he's been decent. He's shown some flashes during his young career, and with a new regime coming in here, a lot of people were speculating what was the future of Aidan O'Connell gonna be like. But so far, it seems like the new regime isn't 100% sold on him. If they're willing to take calls on him, that very likely means they're not sold on him as a quarterback. And ultimately, it wouldn't be a huge shock if this was the case. I mean, Pete Carroll, John Spytek, Brady, all these guys, they have zero ties to Aidan O'Connell. They did not evaluate him. They did not draft him. So it definitely does make sense that they are going to explore trade options for him. Now, the biggest question mark is what could the Raiders potentially get for him on draft night? It is reported that they are willing to try and trade him, and that Aidan O'Connell could potentially be moved for a day 3 pick. So, I don't know, maybe a 4th, 5th, 6th round picks. Who really knows? At this point in his career, 17 starts to his career. Technically that is a full season worth of work, but at the same time, he's been put in some really bad situations. So it is kind of hard to gauge how much better he can get as a quarterback at this point. But one thing we can say is, I definitely don't think his draft stock is going to be anything higher than like a 4th round pick. And we'll just have to see if the Raiders make that move come draft night. Ultimately, if this is the case, then I definitely expect the Raiders to draft the quarterback this season. And just in general, we see what the Raiders did this offseason. They went ahead and traded for a familiar face to Pete Carroll and Geno Smith for a 3rd round pick. And based off of his contract, very likely Geno Smith will be the starter for the next 2 seasons. At the very least, he's going to be the starter next season. So from the get-go, we can kind of see that Aidan O'Connell, it is an uphill battle for him when it comes to potentially being the franchise quarterback for the Raiders. Ultimately, I think Aidan O'Connell missed out on a big opportunity to take command of the starting position last offseason when he battled it out with Gardner Minshew, who we ultimately saw Gardner Minshew played absolutely terrible. And sure, some of you will come out and say that it was a mistake by this coaching staff choosing Minshew over Aidan O'Connell, but at the same time, I gotta point out that if a guy like Gardner Minshew looked that bad, to me, it is a little bit concerning that Aidan O'Connell wasn't able to outperform him consistently in training camp and ultimately win that battle. But we will just have to see what happens in the NFL draft, because if Aidan O'Connell does get moved this year in the draft, then I definitely see us drafting a quarterback this year in the draft. If they keep him around, I still think he's a very solid backup at the very least. If they don't go that route, maybe they could wait, keep Aidan O'Connell around on the roster, and maybe they invest in a quarterback in 2026. But I think the one thing that is clear about this year in the NFL draft is, there's just so many different possibilities that the Raiders could do in the draft this year. You kind of look at this roster up and down. There's not a whole lot of positions or areas on the roster where you can look at and be like, hey, we can completely avoid this position. We're completely good in that sense. This team needs a little bit of everything, so that's why in the 1st round, there's so many different options. We can go with the potential star running back in Ashton Genty. We could go offensive line. We could go defense, cornerback. shoot, you can even make the argument that they may go quarterback. Because although we do have Geno Smith, he is more of a short-term answer than the long-term one. They could also go wide receiver. I mean, there's so many different options the Raiders can do this season, which gives them a whole lot of flexibility and opportunity to potentially trade back in the draft. That is also another possibility that I could see happening if the Raiders could work out a deal for something like that. I ultimately think they are either going to take a player at 6 or they'll trade back. I don't think they're going to go quarterback or anything flashy like that in the first round. If they select a quarterback, maybe it'll be like 2nd, 3rd, 4th round, right around that range in my opinion. But it is interesting to see that this report for Aidan O'Connell came out days before the draft. This could very well mean that the Raiders will want to move on from him. I mean, another thing about Aidan O'Connell is, we don't really know how well he will work in the Chip Kelly offense. Now, I will say Chip Kelly is an offensive mind who's not super stubborn in his ways. He has worked with pocket passers before in the past, but he's also had great success with dual threat quarterbacks that can use their legs more effectively than Aidan O'Connell has shown early on in his career, and just another guy that really doesn't have any ties to AOC. So I could definitely see Aidan O'Connell being moved. Just was a bad situation for him getting drafted here. Midway through his rookie season, the guy that drafted him gets fired, and then the interim coach takes over, then he gets fired. This is already like his 3rd different head coach. So very likely for him, it'll also be a good opportunity to get traded somewhere else, get a fresh start in a different franchise. But Raider Nation, let me know what you guys think about the possibility of the Raiders drafting a quarterback. Do you think that the Raiders should try and move Aidan O'Connell on draft night? Let me know what you guys think in the comment sections down below. But with that being said, Raider Nation, that is all for you guys in today's video. Anybody that is new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.